Welcome to the Invention Show. I'm your host, Brian Freed, and our guest today is Cody Mullenaux. He is the inventor and entrepreneur, actually. He's well on his way with Aquaphant. Welcome to the show, Cody.
Brian, thanks for having me, man.
Interesting guy, Cody. Why don't you tell us first who you are, where you're from, and maybe what the problem you had was that kind of led you on to Aquaphant?
Yeah, simple. Okay, my name's Cody Mullenaux. I'm from Los Angeles, California. I reside here in San Pedro, California. And, I don't come from a inventive background at all. I actually come from logistics. I used to be a truck driver in the port here. So got acquired in 16 and had some time and was transitioning careers when my wife actually asked me to wake up in the middle of the night and get her some water. And being the good husband that I am, I went to the fridge, got her a bottle of water that she actually reluctantly, she drank a sip of it and then put the rest of it on the nightstand. And in the morning when I woke up and made the bed, I had to pour that water into the flowers and throw away the plastic bottle. And at that very moment, I realized that there was a problem here, and I wanted to create some kind of solution.
Okay. And so a lot of wasted water bottles.
So, yeah, more than the wasted water bottles, the inconvenience of having to get out of bed and the fact that now my furniture was actually compromised.
And did you think that you weren't the only one that this was happening to? You think a lot of other people were having the same type of challenges?
Well, I believe that to be true, but I just didn't take that at face value. I went and asked all my friends. So I went and ran some of my own data actually, and come to find out every single one of my friends drinks water in their bed, in their bedroom at night. They have a water bottle or some kind of double insulated flask that they have on their nightstand.
Some people probably use it, they're hydrating before they go to sleep. They're taking medication. They're just keeping it around just in case they wake up and they're thirsty. So maybe the heat is on, especially in my house. I know you're in California. It's a little chilly over here. The heat is blasting. And I wake up in the middle of the night sometimes choking and I'm looking for water. So definitely understand where you're coming from.
And even if you're not a water drinker, if you have water by your bed, you're going to actually drink it. It's very refreshing. And it's like, it's nice to have actual water at your fingertips, even if you're not one of those individuals that brings water to your bed. If you were to have water there, you would actually drink it, is what I've come to find out.
Understood. So you had this problem, and what did you do with the idea? Like what was the first thing that you thought about when you came up with this?
The very first step was, after I collected that data, was like, you know what? I'm onto something. So I reached out to I went to Invent Help, and they have an office here in Orange County. I met with a representative there, and they actually got me started. They actually kind of ignited this fire that I have now to bring this to market, but they weren't the best platform to go after. They're very generic in helping you find attorneys and stuff like that. I ended up finding an attorney back east. We ran a patentability test. No one had ever invented a water dispensing system for furniture. And that's all I was trying to do. And right at that moment, I said, well, let's file utility on this. And
okay.
And that's really how it started.
Let's say you have the unit there and you have the water bottle. Let's take a peek at what you have, and maybe you can explain a little bit about how it works.
I do. So here's the system. Okay. This is an atmospheric water generator. You see it in the corner there with the touch screen on it. So this actually extracts the moisture out of the air at 20%, 25% relative humidity or more. It will make 3 gallons of clean purified water a day. It has a proprietary filtration, which is that we have in the back of the machine, which is like a pre and post carbon. It's basically a reverse osmosis filtration. So the water comes out extremely pure and clean from the atmosphere, actually cleaner than any of your aquifers or cisterns, because you're not having to extract all the garbage out of the water. It's just from the air, and it's cleaning it as it's coming out of the air. It's some of the cleanest water you could get, actually. So there you see the prototype. I'm using this angle so you can kind of see the size, which our goal is to, it's actually shrinking. If I showed you the original prototype, you would laugh. So from that, I invented a bottom fill mechanism that uses a bottle, a proprietary bottle that connects to the fill station. So the generator doesn't really have to be too close to the nightstand or in your bed or by your bed. You can run a line through the back of the machine to the fill station, which you see on top of the nightstand. And this is our bottle. That's our logo. And then you can see the valve that we invented and put into the bottom of our water bottle.
Okay, so what you're saying is that system is a piece of furniture. It has certain filters and mechanisms in there to clean the water that you're adding the water to it?
Nope. That's
or you're
really
running
cool
a line?
The water is created out of the atmosphere. Basically, it's a dehumidifier.
Wow.
There's dehumidification, collects the water from the atmosphere. That water comes off of a collection tank into actually a collection plate into a collection tank, which is sterilized and purified with ultraviolet light, which kills bacteria, any airborne viruses or germs, including actual COVID-19. That water is then passed through the filtration, which I already explained is reverse osmosis filtration, into a standing, pure, clean, potable tank now for consumption. And then when you're ready to drink the water will always be there and ready. So let me try to get up and show you how this bottle, you would literally just plug it into the fill station here, and it would fill up automatically next to your bed. And so that is all proprietary software and flow methods that we've invented. And the system is predetermined to know how much that bottle weighs with the weight of the bottle and the actual liquid that goes in it. And it'll actually just stop automatically. And you could be half asleep. If you just reach over and put that into the fill station, it'll fill itself up.
Wow, that's very impressive, Cody.
It's really cool.
Your background, what did you think that you'd be inventing this type of water, this type of system?
It's funny. When I was younger, I always thought of like inventing something. Wouldn't that be cool to invent something? But you never know if you're going to invent something, right? I ended up driving a truck for years down in the terminals here. I was a truck driver, so we used to haul freight around the port, and then I built that company up to lots of truck drivers and individuals under me, and then we got rid of that company. I did pretty good, actually. But this idea, see, I'm really good with following through with stuff that I start. So when I started this, I didn't know what it was going to be. It was kind of just like an idea that like seemed cool that no one had really done. And it seemed viable to me, like, hey, if I could be watching a movie and I could get water and I don't have to get up, that makes sense. That makes my life easier. Plus my wife is always drinking water in the bed. It just felt like I was solving a problem.
Very interesting. Now, as you progressed with your idea, you right away you looked for help with an invention type of experience. So you kind of got what you need to start with in the basics. What did you do after that, Cody? Now you had to really start to get into understanding the osmosis and the filtration and hydration and all these type of things. It sounds like it's a little bit different than what you were doing in your other profession. So how did you educate yourself to get to that point?
I literally obsessed about this for the next year once I realized there was atmospheric water generation on the market that you could utilize, which was basically dehumidification that I could apply to my patents. So once my utility patents were pending, they had nothing to do with atmospheric water generating. I stumbled across this technology at a fair in Manhattan Beach one day, coming home from a drive with my wife. We saw a fair, we just stopped by randomly, and this guy was selling these commercial units that were pulling water out of the air. And I couldn't understand. I said, where do you put the water jug? He said, no, it's extracting the water. I said, I don't understand this. But right there, a light went off. I said, I could use this technology and I can apply this to my patents, because I have patents for specific applications such as furniture, which I'll get into a little bit later. That's evolved quite a bit now. We have all sorts of patents. But that technology is really off the shelf components. It's nothing really too proprietary, except for a couple of stuff that we did with the software and the internals. So I obsessed about this for a year. I read all about it. So I understand how much power it draws. Our systems right now, as it sits, can make 3 gallons of water for 60 cents, around 60 cents based on your utility, which it draws about 20 cents per kilowatt of power. So it's relatively low power draw. And then come to find out, there's different applications for this to scale them out or make them smaller. So we ended up filing patents for different applications. And so we do have different applications. Then I have patents for just very specific for these units where you can just put them anywhere. Because what's really unique and proprietary about what we're doing is this fill station mechanism with the bottle, with the fill station. So the bottle has an RFID chip, which is unique to you. So what's really cool is if you have a system and I have a bottle, I could go to your house and I can use your system. And on the app, I don't know if you can see here. Let me try to get it better. So the app will actually read out the humidity. It'll read out the temperature. It'll give your bottle your daily intake. It'll give all your data, and it will actually pinpoint different machines in your area. Let's see if you can if I can get a little closer. Sorry.
Yep.
And then it also has you can go and shop, buy bottles. You could buy filters here, and they'll get drop shipped right to your house. So we took it a step further and developed all the software and all these algorithms for the dispensing of the water, which is going to be super valuable moving forward, because now we could really, as a community, get rid of all these single-use plastic water bottles, which has become such a problem that people don't talk about this enough. The data we have shows that 2,000 single-use plastic water bottles a second go in the ocean. A second, not a minute, not an hour. Every second, we consume 2,000 water bottles and are throwing them out. That's a really, really big problem. So I've come with a solution to address this problem in the bed in my room, and it's evolved into this solution to eradicate single-use plastic water bottles, pretty much.
Cody, along the way, it sounds like you might have needed a patent attorney, prototypers, engineers. Where did you find resources, and what kind of steps did you take to say, what should I do first or second or third at that point?
So one of my strong suits is actually my network that I have of people. So I was able to leverage that pretty easily. I posted what I was doing online a couple years ago as our patents got issued and before we made a prototype. A friend of mine owns a manufacturing building in Los Angeles. I brought him on with an equity stake. He was supposed to build our units here. That didn't work out. And it was really sad. We had to unwind that. It was a real stressful time for me. Wasted about a year. This was right before COVID. Then COVID hit. And then, so now all 2020, I'm working with a new engineer that we found online because I just started Googling as soon as this relationship fell out. And I just found a local manufacturer here in LA that he was basically a contractor, and we paid him to render us prototypes and develop this new bottom fill technology. And it was just, I've been writing the checks the whole time. Along the way, I've been developing the team of people I have under me now. I have a robust level of a robust team of corporate guys that are actually on my team now who see the vision of what we're doing. And we've kind of done like an equity play for some sweat equity in the future, because this is very expensive what I'm trying to build right now. I'm kind of tapped out, and part of the reason me going on your show now is we're actually in the funding stages where we're actually trying to fund the next stage.
Tell me about your experience with going through, you're saying it was quite expensive figuring out and making the prototypes. What did it look like when it first started? And what does it look like today? And do you feel like this is the final version? It sounds like you're ready to launch some kind of crowdfunding campaign, but tell us about that experience of like, it sounded like when you were talking about it, it was kind of like the frustrating part of getting it to this point of where it is today. But what kind of lessons did you learn at that point?
Well, when I realized that there was different similar technology on the market, I identified all the different manufacturers and companies doing atmospheric water generating, and they're all in the commercial space. So this sets us this puts us in a different realm because I'm going direct to consumer. My vision is to bring this unit directly to you. Therefore, I saw a market that we could tap into that hasn't been tapped yet. In doing so, I realized the units on the market, the reason no one knows about this information of atmospheric water generating is because no one wants a big commercial unit in their room or in their house. So I said, we need to scale this down as small as possible. So we first made a unit half the size of an existing commercial unit that's on the market. I opened it up, cut it apart, looked at the components, looked at all the SKUs on them, ran the SKUs, called China, did all sorts of stuff to try to source all the components for myself so I could maybe build one cheaper on my own. Realized that was like impossible. So I gave all that information to the new guy that started to build these for us. I explained to him what I wanted to do. They drafted up an envelope, created a shell that we agreed on would look good. And then it's just kind of evolved since then. So that was Rev 1. So if you go on our website, is aquaphant.com, you'll see Rev 1 on there and our Rev 1 fill station. So this, what you see behind us, is Rev 2. And this, we plan to go to market with this one. And what's cool is the one we're going to go to market with actually will have a spout too under the LCD screen there that you could put a bottle in if you want to put this unit in your kitchen on your countertop.
Are you always committed to using the bottle, or when it's, let's say, in my kitchen, I'll be able to use a regular glass?
Correct. So the fill station and bottle become an add-on accessory, which is great because then you can move it around. In the kitchen, the front will come off. The front of this will come off, and then there'll be a spout there. And if you want to leave the front off, you can leave it off, and it would just be a nice, accessible top spout into a bottle or into a glass.
So this could be an alternative to water coolers.
It could be an alternative water cooler. A lot of people have an RO system under their sinks with a spout. So that could be a solution to that. And what's really cool about what we're doing, you got to understand, we're making water out of the air. This is clean water from the atmosphere in all places of the world. It's not just in certain areas. In different areas, it's going to make water faster, but this will still be optimal in places with lower humidity. It will just take a little bit longer, but it will make the water at some point that you need and you can consume.
Very interesting, Cody. Show us one more time the bottle and as close as you can with the unit, and also just to understand now with the app. So I can figure out how much water I'm consuming a day. It keeps me posted, and also if these become available in different locations, I'll be able to fill my water up wherever I find it on your map. Is that the purpose of that?
Correct. Here's our bottle. Here's our logo. And here's the mechanism. This is our valve. And this is prototype. This is real beta version. There'll be a sliding door that's activated by RFID here, either here or on the actual fill station. But yeah, so this has changed a lot since I was like, oh, I'm going to help my wife get water in the bed. So it's evolved a lot into what it is now. And a lot of this is becoming data and software where each individual, if they have the bottle and they're using this machine, say you go to a hotel and we license this with a big hotel chain, right, to put these fill stations next to all their beds. Well, based on our software and our app, you'll buy one of these bottles from the hotel and they can white label it, whatever they want. We'll have some kind of deal with them. You'll plug this into your nightstand and it won't activate the water until the parameters are acknowledged on your app within the infrastructure of that hotel, whatever they set it to. Therefore, they're making water from the air. They can monetize that transaction, which is really cool. This is part of our patents. So you can control this. So you can actually make water from the atmosphere, and then you can create a revenue stream from it depending on the application. And that's in the future. The way I see this going now is more direct to consumer. Put it in every room in every house next to your bed to have water at your fingertips. And then later on, we plan to launch all that, those different options, but it is in our patents.
Seems like you're very well thought out, Cody. So from the bedroom to the furniture in the bedroom to the kitchen to commercial, industrial type of environments, and commercializing and generating revenue for whoever it is that's licensing your intellectual property. Very interesting and amazing how much work you've done and figured out on your own, even buying the parts and components. That's very brave of you, but congratulations on where you are right now. Very
Thank
interesting.
You. And the ace up our sleeve is we have vehicular patents. So your cup holder might have one of these mechanisms that you just put it in your cup holder in the future. And we're working on that. It's a little bit more R&D, but we're very focused right now. We're going direct to consumer. We want to build a real refined residential unit and show that this is the future. This is a viable option for water. And if we all do our due diligence to get one of these systems and put them in our homes, we could actually help eradicate the single-use plastic water bottle issue. And then we can help out with our aquifers and all our cisterns and all the agricultural needs that they're pulling all this water from our resources. And we can have water for consumption every day at our fingertips. Always. You can always have a water bottle in your hand and it's making water from the atmosphere.
That sounds very interesting, Cody. So tell us, you've gotten to this point and here you are. So you're moving forward. You want to build a business from this. You're raising money. Now you're at the crowdfunding is what you chose. You could have raised money from investors. You could have funded it on your own, possibly. You could potentially license it to earn royalties, but you're going forward and you're using crowdfunding or crowdsourcing. So tell us what you're doing.
Well, crowdfunding is very strategic because we're not giving up equity. Right now, I hold 100% of my company. I don't have stakeholders. I can make the decisions to go left or right, and I don't have someone saying, hey, need you out of bed at 6, you need to drive a Honda, and you need to go do this and that. I don't have anyone. I'm not dealing with that. Crowdfunding is great because that gives us an idea of the market we're going to go to based on the data we're going to grab before we go into our live campaign. So that data is super valuable. Apart from the data we're going to grab to be more clear on what market to penetrate, the equity thing is great for me. And if we get 1,000 guys to buy a unit, crowdfunding, I mean, that's still profit in our pocket, and that'll help us get to the next level. After that, we're doing another crowdfunding campaign, but it will be the first time we're going to do an equity crowdfunding play. And so this is before you go like an IPO or something. It's something a little bit before that. We're utilizing this company called Start Engine, and then they're going to put us on their platform, and then they're going to try to raise us capital with their network of individuals. Give up a little equity at that point. Maybe we raise $1 million. That will really help put us in a good spot because right now everything's done. Everything's developed. All the patents are issued. We have the prototype. We're ready to go to market. We have a manufacturer we're going to use. And it's just pressing the button and say, let's go. And how many units do we need?
So we're in January 2022. First step is to launch your campaign on crowdfunding. Which platform do you plan on using?
We're using LaunchBoom right now.
Okay.
And then we'll be using Start Engine to follow that. So we'll go live in February with LaunchBoom. So you guys could look for us on LaunchBoom. And then following that, we'll be leveraging Start Engine for the equity crowdfunding play. And then we're anticipating Q4 of this year to go to market to be ready to ship out units and start developing other sides of what we're doing.
You end up getting the money from the crowdfunding. You're going to manufacture, and you're going to manufacture where you are right now, the Rev 2, the version 2 there, and the prototype of the bottle, and you have all the capability of the manufacturing, the distribution. You figured out where you're going to be storing it and where they're going to be shipping from. You kind of figured all that out, and then as you start to do your social media activity and with your crowdfunding platform, you're going to start to generate some opportunity there to start shipping out your the units and getting some good feedback from the testers, I guess, right?
That's the plan. You know, a big part of what we're doing, a large chunk of this cash and capital that we're going to raise, it really has to go to educating the public. We need to do a huge marketing campaign. And then obviously a lot of R&D. We need to get inventory, manufacturing, all those costs. We don't need to do tooling, stuff like that. So that's good. Then also I do have an executive team under me. They haven't got paid $1. So we'll delegate a little bit of money for them up to a certain point as we grow, because those guys are strategic. They got me to where I'm at. And I've just been kind of harnessing everyone, getting everyone together, saying, let's go, let's do this. And then it's just been evolving with everyone's input. It's been really a fun process. It's been really trying, but it's fun. I would do this again over and over. It's Monday through Sunday. I'm always on my phone researching and trying to stay ahead of different innovations coming out that could be potential issues with us. And so I'm always reading patents, and so we're in a good spot. We're excited, and we're young, and we're trying to make water cool and techy. And we're in the sustainability age now. Everything's climate control, this and that, right? And what we're doing is carbon neutral. We can make our own water from atmosphere. It's sustainable, it's eco-friendly, and you guys can all own one for the price point is going to be very reasonable for you to put one in your room.
Very nice. It's magic.
It is.
You see this water bottle? It's empty, right? Or you see the dispenser? It's empty. And come back in a couple hours, boom, there it is. Yeah. So congratulations. That's why it takes a little second, and just to reiterate what it actually does and what the purpose was. It's amazing. Congratulations. Cody, you've been working on this for how long now?
2018. I'm coming up on 4 years.
Very impressive how quickly and dedicated you are to bringing this to where it is today, and just on its way to this crowdfunding activity. There's inventors that are they have an idea in their head. They're somewhere in the middle, maybe just developing their idea, or maybe they're at that fork in the road. They're not sure how they're going to manufacture it or maybe license it. If you can just give us some words of wisdom quickly to help the inventor, the entrepreneur, the inspiring wannabe inventor out there, some words of wisdom, that would be great, Cody.
What I would say to you guys is leverage any kind of networks you have, first of all, and reach out to people like InventHelp. I mean, I didn't know. I had nowhere to go. I didn't know where to look. I called up InventHelp, and they kind of helped me get a foundation and understanding of what was going on. You know, it is expensive. A lot of people have great ideas, but you can't fund them because you don't have the bankroll. And so I'm very fortunate to have some cash sitting around, and that I was able to fund this myself and continue to fund it up till today. And but don't stop. If you have a passion, you're driven, you feel like you have a good solution, and you're identifying a problem, and you think you've created a solution, no matter how much energy and effort you put into it, it's always going to pan out at the end of the day. So just follow your intuition, follow your heart, be true to yourself. There's always going to be a naysayer. Don't listen to the naysayers. They're sitting on their couch watching TV. They don't care. They just think you have a stupid idea, but they're not going to put the sweat and blood and tears into something that you feel passionate about. So follow your intuition. Do whatever it is you need to do to get it to market.
Thank you so much, Cody. Cody Mullenaux from Aquaphant. We will keep an eye on you, aquaphant.com. Congratulations, Cody. We wish you all the best.
Cool. Thanks, Brian.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Thank you
it.
very much. That was really interesting. If you would like to be a guest on the Got Invention Show, go to gotinventionshow.com and you can be the next inventor that is on our show and tell us your amazing story and let everybody hear about it. Congratulations, Cody. Keep on inventing. Have a great day.